Hello, everyone. This is Alvaro Cortez Jr., aka Lance Danger. I hope I'm hearing myself right. Or rather, I hope you're all hearing me. Let me just kind of double check that the audio is doing well. Let me just kind of Yeah, because it was starting to get a little bit of trouble before. Anyway, thank you all for hopping along into this random live stream. As I put in the title, I am going to be unboxing the latest that I shall be offering, which is Nevermind Truthful Comics Edition number 2. This one I had sent not too long ago, actually, to Indie to Kablam. What's interesting is that when I sent the files to Kablam, it actually took a week for them to actually send me the tracking number for this, which is the fastest time ever that I've gotten a tracking number and a delivery from Kablam from files that I sent for them to print. And it's equally exciting and scary. And I know what you're probably thinking, like, oh, you complain when they're too late, and now you're complaining that they're too fast. Well, we're about to see the quality of the product because usually, even if they take their time, at least it gives room for there to be as few mistakes as possible in the printing process, because sometimes it'll take a couple of weeks or a month and they'll say like, hey, this file is incorrect, or maybe would you would like to reformat your pages so that it doesn't go off the border when it gets cut off and stuff like that. Like, we usually have that back and forth. Now, it could mean that this file was sent and everything went absolutely perfect, which is what I'm hoping for. It could also mean that in the midst of trying to catch up with everyone and trying to do their best to get up to speed with their product that they owe to people, mistakes could fall through the cracks. And from the statement that I had read from a couple of months ago, they did hire a lot of new people over at Kablam to help with that printing process. If I lose my voice a couple of times or sound weird, forgive me. I'm still battling COVID. It's raining. It's a perfectly, beautifully dreary day outside. Like, I hope I'm sounding loud enough because I've been losing my voice every now and again for this past week. As my name says, versus COVID 2 Eclectic Boogaloo. I didn't write Electric Boogaloo, yes, to be a hipster or something. I don't know. Do something different. Not be an AI art app or something. At least this is something a little more original. But anyway, let's not get too distracted from the topic. Also, I'm not going to be on for too long again because I just got from the doctor. I was at my doctor earlier, of course, for the post COVID care and to see how I'm doing and whatnot. It's been a couple of years, guys. Anyway, onto this. Let's see how well or how interesting the results are going to be. When it's up on Indie Planet, I'll give you guys also a heads up when it becomes available there. But if you are a patron on my Patreon, ever since last month, you already have the digital download copy of Nevermind the Truthful Comics Edition number 2, as well as all the other digital copies of every comic that I have made available in physical format. Let me be careful not to dox myself here. All right. Love that they always send this in a Gemini mailer. Okay. Be careful here. It's actually taped to the box. I guess for extra protection or something. Nifty Gemini mailer. Whenever I'm able to resolve the printing issues, because what I've come to the conclusion is pretty much I'm going to keep using Indie Planet and Kablam as an alternate way to make my products available. Yes, so I can have different ways of having it available. If somebody feels more comfortable ordering stuff through Indie Planet, they can access it through Indie Planet. I'm going to be hopefully at the start of next year uploading stuff to Amazon through their Kindle application, so you can have the ebook there as well. And I'm going to try and also work with stuff on my website, so I'll be able to sell the ebooks directly as well and the physical copies. I just need to find of course a good printer place for all this to come to fruition. So stay tuned about that. Like, there's some very interesting options that has opened up over the course of the last few weeks. As most of you know, my brother in arms Manuel Carmona, the writer and creator of Project New Wave, he got himself a very badass printer that would enable him to print comics in house. So more news on that as that develops. Anyway, here it is in its plastic bag. I don't show the front yet because, again, it includes like the billing information and stuff. And once again, I am not interested in doxing myself. So you never know. And also, I don't want to like accidentally get a strike on my channel for doxing, even if it is doxing myself accidentally. I actually got an extra copy. I thought I had ordered 2. Yeah, I ordered 2, but I actually got an extra copy. Cool. And the reason why I ordered 2 is because I like to have one to kind of show around and show to people, and kind of like to read it myself every now and again to kind of compare notes with the others and make sure that things are fine and whatnot, and then have one to like, have it nicely packaged with the others, like kind of to, preserve it, I guess. So here it is. Nevermind Truthful Comics Edition Season 2. And for those who are unaware, it's called the Truthful Comics Edition because way back when, before I even started publishing Warlord online, Nevermind was actually the first comic book strip I started posting online, kind of to test the waters out there and to see if people would be interested in any creations that I would make. And I ended up doing 5 seasons of it throughout the span of maybe about 8 years, give or take. And those first original seasons got destroyed, as I said, with Warlord as well and other creations. CDs have broken, original artwork has gotten damaged, hard drives have fried, flash drives have fried, because again, a lot of either weather problems in Puerto Rico. Come flood season, come hurricane season, things get real really fast, And unfortunately, I didn't have the a way to store the artwork properly when those things happen. Like I would like experiment with one thing and experiment with another the next year, and I would still lose that artwork for the most part because my mom's house, two-story house, the top how the second floor of the house is wood, so especially the roof itself, so it would definitely leak during the tropical storms and the hurricanes and whatnot, so a lot of stuff would get damaged, water damaged. So I lost a lot of original artwork that way. I lost a lot of electronics that way, and when it was in storm season, it was electrical failures. The electricity, now it's gotten worse, unfortunately. But back then, when I was living in Puerto Rico, it was when it was starting to get bad. Like there would be these crazy power surges, and I mean power surges that even my surge protectors would catch fire. That's how bad the power surges were back then, and things are got even worse now. Which is unfathomable to me that things got even worse. But just like I decided that I was going to do Fred Peterson, the Mighty Warlord from scratch and just call it like the Truthful Comics edition, because it's going to be completely new artwork based on that old artwork. And as I illustrated, I'm also editing and um, I hate to say fixing, but I guess I would say adjusting the story itself as well. Areas where I thought where I probably lingered on too long, or areas where I could have expanded more, or story elements that I could have made more clear, either in the artwork or story wise. I'm kind of updating that as I go as well. And I decided to do that with my other properties as well, like Nevermind, Wepamani Wepito, The Cannon Girl, all that good stuff. And just to like kind of give you guys a look see, I was fortunate enough to actually find a PDF file of when I had uploaded a ebook of the original season of Nevermind, which is the first thing I actually printed last year. Never mind the original 12 strip collection from 2007. It was the original strips in its original artwork, lettering, the whole shebang. It wasn't a PDF file. What I did was that I put that PDF file, I put that bad boy into Photoshop, split up all the pages, enlarged it, and basically cleaned up the image so it would look crisper, for it to be printed in this format. And I have to say, it looks pretty good for how I did it back then, anyway. So if you're ever curious, and I'll put the link soon in the chat and the description afterwards, if any of you guys get interested in getting this, if you haven't gotten it already. As you can see, the original strips, very sketchy. It was all in pencil. I didn't ink them. I probably only inked the last strip, I believe, at the end of season 1. Because again, I was really experimenting, and this is really me at my most experimental, and also kind of doing like that love letter to autobiographical comics and strips, kind of like Tom Beelan's True Stories, Swear to God, American Splendor. And even though it wasn't like a autobiographical comic, Optic Nerve as well. Adrian Tomei definitely a big inspiration, especially when it comes to like the more indie stuff. Adrian Tomei is just fantastic in my opinion. One of my all-time favorite creators. So I took this original art, and what I did is that I updated it for Nevermind Truthful Comics Edition #1, and the artwork is a lot more polished. You can understand the lettering a lot better because it is digital lettering. The artwork itself, I would say, is more appealing, I guess, compared to like the original. Like, let me. And again, this is just all for context. I know I went over this for the original unboxing of the first issue, but just to kind of show you guys the difference in the artwork. The original 12 strips, all in pencil, and the um, remake, I guess you could call it, for the Truthful Comics edition, done completely digital. So that's Nevermind, the Truthful Comics edition #1, and this one's the original 12 strips from 2007. Unfortunately, I didn't have any other PDFs of the further seasons, so there isn't going to be like an original 12 strips of the other seasons unless I miraculously find some kind of file, or maybe if I visit my mother's house at some point next year and I miraculously find a working CD with the files or something with the original artwork. Who knows? You never know. I never thought I was going to find a PDF of the original 12 um, strips. So, stranger things, as they say. And so, this is the Truthful Comics edition, season 2. And it's very much like in tune with the first Truthful Comics edition, fully digital artwork based on the existing original web strip from season 2. Again, digital lettering. I am going to fix the lettering though for the web version, because as I'm looking at it here printed, it's looking good. It actually looks way better than I thought it was going to look like, to be honest. But when it's on the actual screen, especially depending on people's brightness adjustment, whether it's on a laptop, desktop, monitor, phone, iPad, or whatever electronical device that people are using to read the strip, the lettering can be a little too light, because I do also use a lot of white to kind of separate the text from the background. Like, it's a lot more clear on paper, but if, for example, I go to my site, and that was actually a reader that pointed that out to me, which I really appreciate. Like, I always take into consideration when somebody gives me like a heads up and a feedback on something that I could do better to enhance the reader experience and such. Let me just look up for my Nevermind Facebook page so you guys can kind of have an idea of what I'm talking about. Actually, the last strip is a perfect kind of example for it. Like, it looks good enough for me because of the brightness adjustments that I have on my screen, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to look, yes, that's good for someone else. And I'm not going to be a dick and be like, well, adjust your screen brightness, like I have to take accountability in that sense and try to do the best that I can do, so that people that take the time to read the comic and to give me good feedback for me to respond, in a good way, and to essentially serve the reader. There you go. Is it sharing? There you go. It's sharing now. Let me kind of make this bigger. There you go. Like even on the stream, it's probably not going to look that great, the lettering, because again, like since I am keeping in mind to have this in print eventually as well this time around, like I'm doing stuff that I know is going to more than likely look good in print, but just because it looks good in print doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to look good in digital through a screen, whether that be a laptop or a phone or wherever you enjoy to read these kind of web comics and such, and vice versa. So I always have to keep that in mind to have that reading experience be a good one, whether it's physical or electronic as well. All right, there we go. So I'm just kind of skimming through everything, and surprisingly enough, it's actually pretty good. All the cuts, the bleeds and everything, it all came out perfect. Like, I know I've been roasting Kablam really harshly this past year, but again, credit where credit is due. Like, they really have been doing pretty good with the printed product. Not too long ago, as I mentioned in a previous unboxing, I got this little ditty right here, the Canning Girl Truthful Comics Edition, Volume 1. And also Project New Wave, issue number 3, which I wrote for Manuel Carmona. Colors by the incomparable Francisco Rivera. So yeah, and once again, like I said with the Project New Wave, like even the cover stock itself compared to the other Nevermind is not like as glossy. It's a little bit of gloss, but it's not as much as this one. As you can probably see by the reflection of the light, like this one kind of reflects the light more light bounces off of this one compared to this one, which is a bit more opaque compared in the paper. And the paper itself, like when I compared it with Project New Wave issues 2 and 3, the quality of the paper is different from the previous issue, but it's not like a huge difference. It's just a little more opaque. The paper probably feels a little less stiff, I guess, is a word I could use compared to the other paper, which feels a little more card stocky, I guess. But that's just kind of going into like more technical terms. In terms of reading it, like I said with the issue 3 of Project New Wave, the ink doesn't smear like in most Marvel and DC comics nowadays. Yeah, definitely worth checking out, especially Project New Wave. Thank you for passing by, Francisco. But yeah, Nevermind, Truthful Comics Edition Season 2. As I said, it's completely digital art compared to the original. Actually, let me look up one of the strips of the original so you guys can kind of see a little better what I'm talking about here. It's always exciting to open your own new comic. Let's see. It's going to go to the Duck Web Comics real quick, which is one of the portals where you can read all of my web comics. Okay, here's the original Nevermind. Let me go to a strip from season 2, any random strip. That one's not gonna do. Okay, let's go there. This is good enough. or bad enough, depending from your point of view. This is how it looked like originally for season two, in contrast to season one, where season one was all just pencil sketches. Season two was when I started doing more inking on the stories, just so that it wouldn't look as messy or as unfinished or as, I guess, as amateurish as it looked in the first one. And a lot of people kind of wanted to see it inked as well. And like I said, even back then, I like to please the readers. So like the overwhelming majority of the readers were like, it's cool, and I know you're experimenting, but maybe if you give it just at least like the most bare minimum of inking, you don't have to go crazy. Just do some inking so that some areas can be differentiated. Well, just so that areas can, provide more depth to the artwork than just looking like all flat and all together, as it did apparently in the first season. And as a creator, at least I personally have always believed that sometimes compromises have to be made, and I can't be like, well, this is my artistic vision, and I'm sorry if you don't understand my artistic vision. I wouldn't be as snobby as that. If anyone can pull that off, more power to them, I guess. But I personally, if I'm going to like put myself out there and put my products out there, like I said before, I want it to be the best reading experience that I can give to someone, whether that be with something super experimental like Nevermind and the Cannon Girl, something super silly like Wepamani Wepito and Stupid the Cat, or like something more traditional superhero comic book like Project New Wave or Fred Peterson, the Mighty Warlord, which kind of skirts that line between super indie and traditional superhero as well. I just want to do like my best for that people to just be entertained by what I put out there, and at the same time express myself honestly as well, if any of that makes sense anyway. It kind of makes sense to me, I guess, which is why I do it that way. Okay, let me just look up real quickly in the printed version of that same strip so that you guys can see the difference. Okay, like there it is, the original version, and here is the updated digital art version. Again, I have to say I am really impressed with the turnaround time for this one, because again, it was sent to me 1 week after I provided the files to them. That had never happened before. I wouldn't dare say that that's going to be the norm now, because as we've all seen over the last couple of years, things can change, and boy, can things change in the drop of a hat. But yeah, at least we all saw it now. I flipped through the whole thing just now to make sure that nothing like artwork or dialogue was cut off when um the product was made. Everything came out perfect. The page ordering, everything is just um is great. Once again, the paper quality, just like with Project New Wave and the Cannon Girl, it's not the same paper quality of like Kablam 2 years ago. But again, we have to also understand and give that space of, you know understanding that there are paper shortages around the world, which has made even bad paper on mainstream comics even worse than before. DC Marvel. So you have to give a little bit of a leash, let it go a little bit, so that you have to like just give that understanding as well. Anyway, let me like show you guys my website and how you can order some of the comics that I just showed you guys. As soon as this one goes up on Indie Planet, I'll let you guys know. I have to update my website also to include the Cannon Girl, but you can find it all on Indie Planet. Let me show you guys this real quick. And that is my website, artofalvaro.com. You can go there, as you can see, boom, right in the landing page. Links to the more recent offerings of my comics. Again, I have to update that a little bit, not too badly. I was in the process of doing that when I got COVID again. But that's the gist of it. You can go to artofalvaro.com, click on the image, and it'll take you right to the direct page on Indie Planet where you can either order the physical copy, which they call print on demand, or you can buy the digital download. And of course, the price varies. Print on demand is $3. And I know what you're thinking, $3 is a little more than usual for these smaller offerings that I do, but Stupid the Cat was presented in full color, which is why the price went up more than usual for these mini comics. I am going to do a black and white version of Stupid the Cat as well to make it more affordable, like the Nevermind and the Cannon Girl, which are both $2. And of course, the digital download is always going to be 99 cents regardless. Let's go back to my page here. You can just go simply to the shop tab, and on the shop tab you'll find the link that'll take you directly to the Truthful Comics shop page, which includes all the direct links to all the offerings that Truthful Comics has right now. As you can see, Project New Wave, Nevermind, Fred Peterson, The Mighty Warlord, Stupid the Cat. I also have to update it on the Truthful Comics website. But again, if you go to Indie Planet, and actually let me just go while I'm at it here. Indie Planet, for example, actually let me kind of see what's here on the front page. I'm always curious to see what's out there. Like they have been, again, like credit where credit is due, they have been updating the front page a lot with more recent comics. And again, for example, type in Project New Wave in the search. Um, this book that says Never Look Back has nothing to do with us, but issues 1 through 3, boom, right there of Project New Wave. Let me see. Never find. There's probably going to be another bunch of other comics as well that has nothing to do popping up, but yeah, like Deviant Mind. Deviant Mind, I've actually read this web comic. It's one of those web comics that was running around the same time that I started doing web comics. Wow, there's a lot of pages for Nevermind, but Nevermind, the first two that pop up here, with the Truthful Comics logo on the cover. You know, Truthful Comics Edition number one and the original 12 strip collection from 2007 is right there. So you can definitely check that out. And once again, once it becomes available, it's going to be just like that. Print on demand, $2, or digital download, 99 cents. All of them are 99 cents, for the exception of the Fred Peterson, the Mighty Warlord webisodes, which is actually free to download if you search for Fred Peterson on Indie Planet. And there they are, the original comics that were actually published in physical format. Again, like Fred Pearson, The Mighty Warrior number 0, for example, you go in, print on demand, 199 if you would like the physical copy, but digital download is nothing. So if you haven't downloaded it yet, you can definitely go to Indie Planet, check it out. I'll be putting links eventually in this live stream as well. And I think this is going to be it for now. Let me just put a link to my website here real quick, so you guys can check that out at your leisure. And aside from finding the shop tab there, you know, I believe it was on this page. Aside from finding the shop tab on my website, you also have like the portfolio, I guess, if you're interested in. There's, of course, my about page with my information. There's the portfolio page where I have it broken down into different aspects of my art in case somebody ever wanted to like see my art portfolio for some reason. Of course, I have the web comics, the link to Truthful Comics, YouTube, of course. The shop tab, as I said, that goes to Truthful Comics and also to Redbubble, where I have merch for Fred Peterson, the Mighty Warlord. Of course, the link to my blogs and my contact info, a way to contact me as well if you wish to contact me through my website for some reason. And that's the gist of it. Right. Anyway, once again, never mind. Truthful Comics Edition Season 2 is good. You know, like and speaking of the printing, you know, I can't talk for the story or the art because I'm going to be biased and of course think it's good, but that's up to you, the reader, to decide if you like it or not. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining. I am off to convalesce a little bit. Um Actually, yeah, I've been thinking about this because I recently actually got this on sale, the Resident Evil Origins collection, which is the Resident Evil Zero game that came out for GameCube originally, and the remake of Resident Evil 1 that was done way back when. I was actually thinking of maybe streaming that either later tonight or sometime during the weekend because in the case of Resident Evil Zero, I never got to finish the game due to complicated personal reasons back then when it originally came out for the GameCube. And Resident Evil 1, I have actually never played because I grew up not having any of the PlayStation consoles because it was always either one or the other, either PlayStation or the Nintendo console. And much like the angry video game nerd when he was a kid, I would always go for the Nintendo consoles always. Of course, I got the Super Nintendo. When I had the chance to choose between the N64 and the PlayStation, I went for the N64. And eventually, of course, as time went on, the N64, the GameCube, and it wasn't until like that era when the PlayStation 3 had already come out and it was almost nearing its end of its lifespan that I actually ventured to buy myself a PlayStation 2. So ever since I have been kind of caught up in a way. Um, I have pretty much all the PlayStation consoles now, and I've been trying to kind of get up to speed with a lot of games. So Resident Evil are is a franchise that I've only played every other game because I didn't have a Dreamcast either. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. I wasn't able to hit mute on time. Dreamcast. I was never able to own a Dreamcast, so I never played Code Veronica, for example. Resident Evil 2, I was able to play quite a bit of it because um, it was randomly enough available on the Nintendo 64, which at the time, I think it still is like the biggest cartridge ever made for a Nintendo game because of, of course, all the specs it needs to run that type of game on a Nintendo 64 in a cartridge format, which is mind blowing. I was never able to finish that game. As I said, I played a little bit of Resident Evil Zero. I've played a little bit of Resident Evil 4, and that's pretty much where I left off. And mostly because I played it in my friend's house because I was never able to get the Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube. Originally, it was a GameCube exclusive, and then it went to the PlayStation when that original batch of Capcom exclusive for the GameCube didn't sell as well as they had hoped. Like I believe it was like the Capcom 4. I think they called it. That it was like Resident Evil 4, PN03, Killer 7, and Beautiful Joe, if I'm not mistaken. I can't believe that I can't remember most of what's happened this past year, and I still remember something so random like that. Anyway, that cough and assistant to the editor, Hunter Jr., the cat, is telling me it's time to um, put cameras down. So thank you all so much for spending this little time with me. Thank you all so much for the support. I did cross 400 subscribers on the channel, which is nuts. I never thought I would have gotten to that amount of subscribers in such a short time. When I started the year, I wasn't even at 100 subscribers. So thank you all so much for the support. Thank you for watching the live streams like this one and like Boricuas Contra Todo with Chago Rodriguez. All the random shorts and the videos and the all around silliness that is the Lance Danger YouTube channel. I'll do a proper celebration video either when I'm feeling better or when I actually hit 500 subs or something. I don't know. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Stay tuned. I might be playing this on Twitch over the weekend, and like I've been doing with the Mega Man Let's Plays, I'll eventually like upload a shortened version of it to my other YouTube channel as well. Once again, thank you all so much, and catch you all next time. And in case I don't do a solo live stream before then, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever doesn't offend you in the holidays. Thank you and goodbye. Oh, I'm so sorry to drop popping back in like this. I don't know if everyone's already left. Um, Tomorrow, Saturday. Speaking of Chago Rodriguez, over at his channel, Chago the Approved Comics, he's going to be doing a live stream. He said that he's going to be doing live streams every Saturday from now on in his YouTube channel. Last Saturday was his first live stream. Tomorrow is going to be his second live stream. So go ahead and go support Chago on his live streams. Check out his channel. I'll leave links in the description as well later on. If you're an OG of this channel, you already know the what's going on, what's happening. So check out his live stream tomorrow. I'll be sharing the links tomorrow on social media and whatnot, and the community tab more than likely here on YouTube as well when his live stream starts on his channel. Once again, Chago the Approved Comics. Okay, now for real, bye.